Hello, Dad. This is Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast, and today's topic is this: just let the kids play. Let's do it.
Hi, my name's Nico, and you're listening to my dad, Jay Warren. This is the Dadhood Journey podcast. Thanks for listening. Pretty good. Now can we listen to it?
Yep. So this is a topic and a message apparently I need to listen to over and over and over again, and hopefully this is something that's helpful for you, Dad, because just let the kids play is something that I find myself in this situation that I'm going to tell you about happening over and over again. Nico teaches this to me, and when I go with the flow, life works better, and when I go against this flow, it just wreaks havoc, and I get pissy, Nico gets pissy, the whole day goes sideways. And that is just, being in the moment with your kiddo and letting them pretend and letting them play and not having an agenda or being so attached to the agenda. So anyway, this is the situation happened, and I'll circle it around, I promise. So it was the other morning, getting ready for work. I was actually up a little early, playing around with Nico, needed to get ready, and all of a sudden, actually it happened because we got a new car seat, one of those like booster, bigger kid car seats. He's been in one of the like infant cart seats type of thing, but now he's the right height and weight to do one of the booster kind of adapters. Anyway, so it got delivered to the house. It's in the by the front door to put in the car, and he's like, hey, let's try this thing out, and we put it in the car to make sure it fit, and that was going to be a 3-minute process. But then he decided, hey, we could use this new booster seat car seat to go on a camping trip. Let's go on a camping trip. And I knew he was pretending, so I wasn't trying to talk him out of being disappointed of not going camping, but I was like, all right, let's roll with this for a little while. So I was like, well, if we're going camping, and by the way, we've never been camping. We haven't been camping yet. He's 4.5 years old, and I haven't been camping. Definitely on my list. I want to take him to do that. But anyway, what would we need, Nico, if we were going camping? And he's like, we would need sleeping bags. Oh, we don't have sleeping bags, but we could have a blanket. So we ran in the house and got a blanket and brought it to the car. And then I'm like, what else do you need? He's like, well, we're going to need food. We need snacks. So we went and got some snacks and brought it in the car. And he went and got a flashlight. And he went and got wood. He said we needed a wood. And I do a lot of stuff in the garage with reclaimed wood. And we have tons of stuff for chimenea fires in the backyard. So he went and got a couple pieces of wood. And then we needed a lighter, of course. And I said, well, we can't bring a real lighter into the car. So we found a paper clip that dubbed as a lighter, and all of that was super fun. It was not at all what I was expecting to do with the morning. It definitely delayed proper breakfast time. I ran a little late, so I was having to race to get to the office and everything. I wasn't super late. I was keeping an eye on things as far as the time and what I had to do for the morning, but I also was going back and forth that I wanted to have that time with Nico to just pretend that we were going on a camping trip. And he was so into it. And once it played itself out, he was ready for breakfast. He was ready to get his clothes on. He was ready for me to leave for going to the office, those kind of things. Versus if I was like, hey, dude, we do not have time for this. I got to get dressed. You need to eat. Change out of your PJs. Get your clothes on. Grandma's coming soon. I got to get to work. If I interrupted all of that, it just would have gone sideways. And let's face it, Dad, there's times where we have to do that, right? There just isn't time to spend 20 minutes to pack the car for an imaginary camping trip, right? But when there is time, go with it. It's so fun. I mean, the lesson that Nico constantly teaches me is being present with him, just being in the moment, have fun with whatever's at hand, rather than, this is all good, but we got to get to the store, and I got to get this done, and I got to get going, all those kind of things. Life moves so fast, and there's so much to do. I mean, I'm not saying that we have to drop everything for every little adventure that our kiddos put us on. But man, life moves quick, and those moments are just so fun, and they're so connecting with your kiddo, and it brings you out of the like errands world and the work world and the have to world and all of that stuff that we as dads and parents all have to deal with on so much of our basis to make sure that there's food on the table and there's a roof overhead and everything's going well in as many places as we think we can control to go well. But it's those little times of play, of pretend time, of just sometimes watching a bug crawl across the sidewalk, is so engrossing for a little kid and so mundane for us, right? Like, we've seen a ton of bugs, and, our mind is like, don't touch it, don't poke it, don't eat it. But they're just like amazed that a beetle could walk across the sidewalk. And it is a really cool thing if we let it, and if we can be in that moment and see it through their eyes, which is something I'm constantly reminded as well, that everything's new in a child's world, and it can make it new for us too if we're in that space. So trying to create more space of downtime, of not having to be everywhere so quickly and get everything done on the list, is tough to do. But I encourage you, Dad, to make that time and to have that time with your son or your daughter or your kids if you have multiples. It's really special, and it was one of those things that throughout the rest of that day I kept looking back on, and I was telling people in the office, my patients, and just recounted it a number of times of like how fun it was to just pretend we were going on a camping trip. And the more you can do that, the better, because there's going to be plenty of other times where we gotta get shit done, right? So that was my little lesson. There's a bunch of other ones that I can recall too, that it just really brought it to mind that I'm moving way too fast, not seeing things as slowly and as clearly as my 4-year-old son. So he's a great teacher in that way. So let me know how that is for you. Have you had a moment like that? Share it in the closed Facebook group. Apply if you haven't already gotten in. Share it with other dads, and anything else that you can share to help us all along our own dadhood journeys is going to be really helpful. So until next time, take care.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. You can hang out with other dads in our Facebook group. Just go to Facebook, search for the Dadhood Journey, and apply to get in. See you there, and see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Perfect.
There you go, Dan.